Hello friends, welcome back. Their clear to close was canceled. A bombshell was dropped on the new home owners and the sellers are panicked because the sellers are under contract on another home that they intend to move into with the proceeds from the sale of this pending contract. And this thing is a complete disaster. Hello friends, it is a great day in South Florida, or rather it's a gray day in South Florida. I feel like I'm back in the Northeast, but it's a little bit windy. It's about, 75 degrees out, and it's gray and overcast, which is not necessarily unusual for winter in Florida. But this disaster that just happened, I need to talk about because I just watched Michael Bordonero's video on the retail apocalypse that is happening, and I love Michael's channel. You got to check out his stuff. But if you've been watching me for a while, you know I've talked about Walmart. You know I've talked about the buy now, pay later scam that is happening right now. And I think Michael's right. I do expect there is going to be a retail apocalypse at some point in the near future. But let's get back into this story. So these buyers who were super excited to be under contract on their dream home, and these sellers who were equally super excited to be getting out of that smaller home and into a bigger home that works better for them. And given all the things that are happening in the world, inflation, the affordability crisis, homeowners this, condo association that, there are all kinds of issues that are happening right now economically, which we all know about, but the numbers worked for both the buyer and the seller, or at least that's what we thought. And while there are many things I can control in the sales process when I'm working with the client, the one thing that I can't control is them. And really the only person I can actually control is myself. But I go out of my way to ensure when I'm working with somebody who's using financing that they understand that their credit, depending on who they are and what their finances are, that they be aware of their credit. And not only do I tell them, but the mortgage professional tells them, and everybody associated with the transaction always tells them, whatever you do, do not take on any new debt. Do not open a credit card. Do not go buy a car. And right now, there are folks out there who have purchased cars, and I've heard horror stories from people who have gone out there and bought a car, and now they're stuck because the car's value is significantly less. And now because their debt to income ratio has changed, they can't go out there and buy a home. And that's exactly happened with these buyers. These buyers got so excited about buying the home that they completely forgot or ignored that their debt to income ratio is a big deal. And they forgot that they're not supposed to. In fact, the real language that is used is you are not allowed to take on any new credit. And I know that these folks have been advised by everybody associated with the transaction of exactly what the risks are and exactly what their financial profile is and exactly what their debt to income ratio is well before we ever started shopping for homes. But they also got so excited by the fact that they got this spectacular home and spectacular deal and financing, and they can afford it, and all those things. They found the unicorn house that they were dreaming about, but they completely forgot the main point, which is you don't play games with your credit before you close. And they got so excited thinking about their new home, thinking about their dream home, moving into the property, that they went out and they bought a fortune's worth of furniture for the new home. And I'm talking everything. Couches, big screen TVs, kitchen set, dining set, chandeliers, paintings, everything. I mean, they went beds, bedrooms, anything that you could buy for a home on credit, that's what they bought. And I believe they did use the buy now, pay later feature on some of these items. But they went hog wild. They went nuts. They bought everything you could possibly want from soup to nuts for the new home. And no, they didn't call me and tell me about it. The mortgage lender called me and told me about it because he was in a panic they don't qualify for this loan. Their clear to close is not closing. They are going to blow this deal up. They're going to lose the home. And the sellers, who are extremely nice people, are panicked. Well, they started off furious because they couldn't believe anybody would be this stupid. But they also understand because they're equally as excited on their new home. They just knew better than to buy new furniture. But they're panicked and they don't know what to do. And they're afraid that they're not going to be able to purchase the new home. But even worse, they're past the contingency periods. They may lose their deposit. They may lose several $100,000 of earnest money, which is in escrow. So this entire thing is a complete disaster, and all the transactions are about to implode and collapse on themselves. And despite the tremendous odds of this actually becoming a complete disaster with no solution, I suspect I'll be able to find a solution because all of the parties involved are extremely empathetic to each other, or perhaps sympathetic to each other, but everybody involved wants the deal to proceed. And I suspect they're willing to allow for more time for us to be able to pull a rabbit out of our hat and solve these problems that they've created by taking on these new debts. And I suspect there's going to be lots of folks who can't buy what they want because Walmart has blown them up with their buy now, pay later and their 40% fees. When folks default on the terms they agreed to, which they never read in the first place. And I'm praying for a good resolution for all the parties involved, and I think hope is still alive, but hope is not a balance sheet item. And if you want to know what's really happening in the market right now, then please check out my free Patreon. It's linked down below. And if you're thinking about selling, but you're tired of lowball offers, then please click the link that's up above, and I'll catch you on the next video.